Live from Shea Stadium in beautiful Flushing, New York. Today, the Mets host the Colorado Rockies. Mets Baseball 96 is brought to you by your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Nissan dealer. Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car. By Miller Lite, when you've got the great taste of Miller Lite, life is good. And by your Tri-State Ford dealer. Pitching for the Rockies today, Armando Reynoso, who is 1-1 on the season. Same for the Mets right-hander Jason Isringhausen.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another afternoon of Mets baseball. I'm Tim McCarver, along with Gary Thorne, and it was Richard III that said, "My kingdom for a horse," and it's Dallas Green that's been saying, "My kingdom for a pitcher that goes late into a ball game," and finally he got one yesterday.
That's a long statement when you put that in quotes. His name is Mark Clark. He had a great outing yesterday for the New York Mets, and you're right, Timmy. That's what they need. They need innings out of their starters. You take a look at the numbers that the starters have put up this far this season, nowhere near what the New York Mets need to get out of them. When you've got to go over into that 7th inning and hopefully further if you're Dallas Green as a manager, in order to be successful as a starter, Mets starters haven't gotten that done. Heard Bob Gibson, your good buddy, talking this past week with Warner Wolf in Washington about that. He says, I would like to know who came up with this quality start definition as being getting into the 7th inning. He says that does not make a starting pitcher. Well, today's age, I guess it does. Pitchers feel they get that far, they're successful, and somebody else is supposed to come in and take over. Dallas wants more than that.
You know what a quality start is? It's a pitcher that starts a game and wins it. Mark Clark didn't win yesterday, but he did start and win 8 innings, and he'll be Gary Thorne's guest right after this from your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Nissan dealer.
Everybody, the New York Mets needed a good outing from a starter. Yesterday they got it. Mark Clark, excellent performance. Congratulations on that one, and got to be happy with it.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. I think it was a big boost for the pitching staff. We needed, a starting pitcher to go out there and throw 7-8 innings and give the hitters a chance to score some runs, which, we kind of struggled a little bit yesterday, but, now I know how they felt. They've been pretty much keeping us in the games so far, but hopefully that'll, we can get the pitching going and turn the thing around.
Andres Galarraga's got a red-hot bat. You got him yesterday. We're going to take a look at the strikeouts you got him on. Tell us how you pitched to this guy.
I tell you, it's amazing. The ball must look like a beach ball coming up there to him right now. I mean, yesterday I made some pretty good pitches that he hit, and I did the same thing in Colorado. He made some good pitches. I made some good pitches against him, and he hit them. And the only thing I can figure out is, throw the ball maybe 1.5 feet, 2 foot off the plate and hope he swings at it.
And he does that.
Yeah, he did yesterday. Of course, with guys on base, he seems to be a little bit more aggressive hitter. Swinging at more pitches and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different pitching to him with guys on base.
Tell us a little story. You almost didn't make that start. It got a little tough in the dugout for you.
Yeah, I was charting pitches before the game, or during the game the night before, and Todd, that foul ball hit off the end of the bat, caught me right on the side of the hand, and then it was pretty sore the night before, and then yesterday when I got here, it felt pretty good. So, I'm thinking about maybe trying to get hit before every game I start if I'm going to throw like that.
Mark, if whatever works, congratulations. Great to have you with us on the Mets, and have a great season.
All right, thank you.
Mark Clark, who had the outing for the New York Mets yesterday. They'll try and take this series from Colorado when we come back to Shea right after this from Cadillac.
Yesterday's game on a base hit by Jose Vizcaino. He's only 1 for his last 14, but yesterday's base hit was for Jonathan Vizcaino, who was less than 24 hours old. Jose starting in Friday night's game. He left after 1 inning, and his wife Jessica giving birth to their 3rd child. Bouncing baby boy, and Jose celebrated in royal style yesterday.
3 for 3 in that department.
You got that right.
Yeah, and he said the guys were all kidding him before the game, saying, look, you got to have one. You got to have one for the kids so you can tell them about it later. And he said, all right. Sure enough, in extra innings, came up with the 0 for 13 and picked up the base hit. That's a great way to celebrate the birth of a youngster. Right?
Driving in Ray Ordonez. We'll take another look at it. Line drive to Dante Bichette in right field. And Vizcaino, once he reached first, looked back. Ordonez scored, and Vizcaino with a game-winning hit in yesterday's game. And a big game it was for the Mets Their record now 5-10. The Rockies, on the other hand, 7-9 on the year. Both teams are in last place in their divisions, even though the Rockies are not nearly as deep as the Mets are right now. Excuse me, Gary. Montreal 10-7, and the Mets 4 games back at 5-10.
Well, the New York Mets, as we mentioned, the pitching that we looked at, that start was enormously important for them, and the hope is that Jason Isringhausen can feed off Clark's work yesterday, get himself settled down, and go into that 7th or 8th inning or longer. You see the numbers that Isringhausen has put up thus far this season: 17 and 2/3 innings, 19 hits. It's been largely, though, a matter of control that he's had to deal with, and that's what they'll be looking for in this one. The lineup he'll face for the Rockies is brought to you by Honda. Don Baylor will have a veteran leading off, who right now is red hot. Walt Weiss at shortstop in the leadoff spot. Quentin McCracken makes the start in center field. Dante Bichette will be in right field batting third. Andres Galarraga will be at first base. Ellis Burks in left field will hit 5th. Vinny Castilla at third base 6th, followed by Jason Bates at second base. Brito will do the catching. Jeff Reed will get a break today, and Armando Reynoso, the 29-year-old right-hander, will be on the mound.
The defense for the New York Mets: Bernard Gilkey in left field, Lance Johnson in center, Butch Husky once again in right field. Butch has been swinging the bat much better the last week. Jeff Kent at third, Ray Ordonez at shortstop, Jose Vizcaino, the second baseman, Rico Brogna at first, and Todd Hundley, who is probably the hottest hitter in the National League, is behind the plate. Umpires for today's game: Jerry Davis behind the plate, Ed Rapuano at first base, Kerwin Danley down at second, Kerwin a rookie this year, and Terry Tate, the crew chief, down at third. Funny how you say down at second and over at first.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And it wouldn't sound right if you did it any other way.
There's Dallas Green in the dugout for the Mets. And as Gary said in our pregame, Dallas delighted yesterday that Mark Clark could go 8 strong innings. Mark, a very pleasant surprise thus far for the Mets. He's really had 3 good outings.
You know, it's ironic to me, with all the discussion of the young Met pitchers, along the way here, at least for the first half, it may be Clark and Pete Harnisch who become the most important parts of that starting rotation. 2 names who really weren't talked about much at all. Obviously Clark not at all because he wasn't here, and Harnisch because he was injured.
Walt Weiss off to a quick start. He takes a fastball outside, and the Mets have seen enough of Walt Weiss. He is 12 for 22, a .545 average against New York over the 5 games that they've played. Fly ball, shallow center. Over is Johnson, warding off Husky, and that's a good idea. 1 out here in the first. You don't want a collision between those two. I think Butch outmans Lance by about 80 pounds.
Lance will kind of just drift over there and keep hollering. If he hears footsteps, maybe back off just a little bit.
1 out here in the first inning, and Quentin McCracken, the center fielder today, his first major league start on Friday night, was very productive. He scored 2 runs, had a triple in that game, and a fastball high to Q, as his teammates call him. Outside corner, strike 1 to McCracken. Larry Walker being given the day off today. Had a mild hamstring problem in spring training, and it's tightened up just a wee bit. And the curveball fouled off the foot of McCracken. A ball and 2 strikes to Quentin. Guarantee you Larry Walker will not miss tomorrow night's game or Tuesday afternoon, because the Rockies go to Wrigley Field. You don't see too many power hitters getting out of that ballpark's lineup.
The way the wind's been blowing there the last couple of days, the home runs may land at Shea, out of Wrigley.
Barry Bonds, oh yeah, that's right. Barry Bonds with a huge day yesterday. Kraken fouls it away, still 1-2.
I mean, the wind's been 17 to 20, 25 miles an hour blowing out at Wrigley. And the home runs have just not only been flying out of there, but beyond the ballpark and out into the streets and the buildings where people are watching across the streets at Wrigley.
Curveball, center field, in is Johnson to make the play. So Lance Johnson with 2 putouts on the first 2 hitters, and that'll bring up Dante Bichette.
And I think, Timmy, in the first 2 batters, we've seen something Jason Isringhausen has been working on, and that's the getting a little different speeds on those pitches. He doesn't feel confident in his changeup, but a couple of the curveballs he just threw were slower than some of the curveballs we have seen from him last year and in spring training this year. He needs to have some kind of a third look out there.
Working on that changeup this spring, and as you said, he's really not satisfied with it yet. You don't want to take your rehearsals. You can rehearse in spring training, but once the season starts, you don't want to get beat by your third best pitch. 1-1 to Bichette. Ball 2, 2-1.
And control, of course, with the 10 walks that he's given up, along with 19 hits in 18 innings, means he has worked most of the time out of the stretch with runners on base.
Inside to Bichette, 3 balls and 1 strike to Dante Bichette. Isringhausen, no decision against the Rockies, as you see the cleanup hitter Andres Galarraga. Ball 4. So a rare walk to Dante Bichette. As a matter of fact, none of the Rocky big hitters, that's Bichette, Galarraga, or Castilla, walk a lot. Larry Walker will take a walk occasionally.
Dante Bichette, if he gets into double digits, considers it a disaster. He had only 22 walks all of last year and 579 at bats.
He had 19 the year before. So in his last 1,100 at bats, he's walked 40 times.
He's consistent.
Inside to Galarraga, who had a terrific day yesterday, driving in all 3 Rocky runs, his 11th multi-home run game for his career.
Boy, is he hot right now. He was putting balls out beyond the pavilion in left field today over everything, and rarely do people put them there even in batting practice.
There goes Bichette. Fastball swing and a miss. The throw by Hundley, out at second base. Fine throw by Todd Hundley, right on the money. And the Rockies don't score, and we're back after this from Miller Brewing. Win coming against the Mets. He beat the Mets 7-3 at Coors Field 10 days ago.
And the Mets lineup is brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer. The regulars will be in on this Sunday game. Dallas Green will have in the leadoff spot. Lance Johnson has been struggling a bit. He's in center field. Batting second, Jose Vizcaino at second base. In the number 3 hole, Bernard Gilkey in left field. He'll be followed by Butch Husky in right field. Rico Brogna at first base. 6, Todd Hundley, the catcher. Third baseman Jeff Kent will bat 7th. The shortstop in the number 8 hole, Ray Ordonez. And the pitcher batting 9th, Isringhausen.
Lance Johnson with no score here in the bottom of the first inning. And Gary, you and I were talking between innings, rather unusual for Bichette to be running with a count 1 ball, no strikes to Galarraga, as hot as he is.
And 2 down.
Yeah. Fouled away, 1-1 to Johnson.
I really find that hard to believe he had a sign to go on that.
Take a look at the defense. Burks, McCracken, Bichette in the outfield. Castilla, Weiss, Bates, Galarraga around the infield. And George Brito behind the plate. Fine defensive catcher for the Rockies today. Popped up. Shallow left. Weiss is back. And now Ellis Burks in. And he watches Weiss make the play. 1 out. Jose Vizcaino coming up.
He may be one of the most underrated shortstops in the game right there. This is a quality veteran player at short, defensively in particular, who's given them some outstanding on-base percentage numbers. This is a good player who doesn't get a lot of recognition. Walt Weiss.
You know, he's a winner. He's been on winning teams throughout his career with the Oakland Athletics, 4 times in postseason, 4 playoffs, 2 World Series. Vizcaino wanted to bunt. He takes strike one from Reynoso. The glove of Galarraga. Safe at first is Vizcaino, who's 2 for his last 2 at-bats.
Gotta have more kids. Jose Vizcaino, the big cat ranging to his right here, knocks it down. Pitcher comes over to cover Reynoso. No chance, though. It had moved too far away, and Vizcaino's got the infield hit.
Jose Vizcaino talking to Galarraga right now, but he does not want to talk to that first baseman for long, because this guy on the mound right now has the best move of any right-hander in baseball, in my opinion, today. You talk about quick feet. Nice play by Brito as Bernard Gilkey takes wide, ball 1. 1-0 to Bernard Gilkey, batting .359.
Reynoso picked off 7 base runners last year, even though he had a late start to the season. Timmy's talking about, well, that move over there to first base, and he comes from so many different positions in his pitching delivery anyways. It's very hard to read Reynoso.
Picked off Carl Everett in that start 10 days ago at Coors Field. Ground ball toward third. Castilla baits to Galarraga. So round the horn double play ends it for the Mets. No score after 1. We're back after this from your local Chevy Geo dealer. Armando Reynoso allowed 1 hit, an infield hit to Jose Vizcaino. And then the double play by Bernard Gilkey. Gary pointed out only the 6th double play that the Mets have hit into this year as Andres Galarraga leads it off here in the 2nd inning. Breaking ball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. As far as the Mets are concerned, that is not a good sign, because they haven't had a lot of early base runners or base runners early in the game. Line to center. Johnson once again his 3rd put out of the game.
Timmy, lending credence to that too is the fact the Mets have left the fewest number of men on base in the league. And another situation, generally as the season goes along, that's a number you want to have. But right now, early on, it is another sign that the Mets have not had a lot of people on base anyway.
Ellis Burks, the batter. And this one hit him. So Burks is hit by a pitch. The fastball was inside, way inside. Burks had no chance to get out of the way. Looked like he was hitting the numbers.
He just kind of turned on this. He saw he wasn't going to be able to go anywhere with it, so was trying to avoid getting hit on the elbow with that if he could. And Jason Isringhausen has hit a batter for the first time this year.
So Burks is on at first, and Vinny Castilla the batter. No score here in the 2nd on a glorious day. Just absolutely beautiful.
Ellis Burks is making quite a comeback over there. He's getting on base. He's 2nd in runs in the league. He's healthy, which he hasn't been for a couple of years. He's a threat to go.
He has been successful 2 out of 3 times, but this one line, great play by Kent, and it's turned 5-4-3 on a fine short hop by Jeff Kent. That does it for the Rockies, and we'll be back after this from HIP. Glorious day for baseball, or for anything else for that matter. About 75 degrees, a little breeze, low humidity as Butch Husky leads it off. Butch batting 189, but remember, he was 2 for his first 30, and he's 8 for his last 23. So they're in kind of the tail of 2 groupings. This one ground toward third. Castillo, an easy play, and he throws out Husky. 1 out here in the 2nd.
Remember that. Well, guess who? I wonder if that's an Italian.
Doesn't have his cap on. I see nothing unusual about that shot.
Well, he's out of uniform.
That's when you've been running too much. Your tongue is really hanging out. Rico Brogna, the batter, outside, ball one.
Franco hates those day games after another day game.
No score here in the second. Change up grounded toward Galarraga. And Andres makes the play.
Could you love me?
Number 9, catcher Todd Hundley.
Dave Malicki and John Franco. The one on the right is Malicki.
And the one on the left is Franco. Franco hung red ribbons throughout the New York Mets clubhouse yesterday. It's the Italian sign for good luck to ward off evil spirits. They won. The ribbons are still up.
All of the ribbons have been in Todd Hundley's locker thus far. What a start.
There's one outside.
1 ball, no strikes to Hundley. We're in the second. It worked for the Mets yesterday, and it looked like Hundley may have discovered a hairline fracture in his gamer. Sometimes you don't realize it. Sometimes if it's a hairline fracture, I think he found a chip on the barrel of the bat, but sometimes if it's hairline, you may use that bat for several games. If you hit it on the right spot. And Hundley has been hitting it on the right spot. 1-1 to Todd Hundley. Outside, ball 2, 2-1.
This side of the plate in particular. Todd's batting .425 with 6 home runs left-handed.
6 of his 7, and the changeup a beauty. 2-2 to Todd Hundley. Another change, got him. So a bevy of changeups to the hot-hitting Hundley. It is no score after 2, and we'll be back after this from Chrysler. 2 young Mets fans getting into things, trying to get on Diamond Vision right now so he can give his version of the wave. 3rd inning, only 1 hit in this game. Jose Vizcaíno's infield hit in the 1st inning. Jason Bates leads it off for Colorado. Bates batting .260 on the year, filling in until Eric Young, their regular second baseman, joins the Rockies. This one tapped back to Izzy. So Izzy does. 1 out.
Young is supposed to be back tomorrow, joining this club in Chicago. And interesting to see what happens there in their lineup with Bates out there at second base, having done a pretty good job for him both ways.
Young has been on a rehab program in the minor leagues, as has their regular catcher, Jayhawk Owens, thought to platoon with Jeff Reed. Jayhawk Owens spraining a thumb rather severely on March 22nd, diving into a bag. George Brito takes a fastball low, strike 1. Nothing and 2 to Brito, who's 1 for 12 on the season.
You notice the difference in the start for Isringhausen in this game compared to Isringhausen and other starters that we have talked about. Ahead on the count.
Strike 1.
Strike 1.
Breaking ball fouled away. It's the biggest pitch in any sequence is strike 1. The only hitter to whom Isringhausen has fallen behind Andres Galarraga. He did walk Bichette, but it was strike one and then 4 straight balls. Still 0-2 to George Brito, the catcher. Got him. First strikeout for Isringhausen. 2 down here in the 3rd.
Now you are seeing early on in this game the Jason Isringhausen that the Mets have been talking about. He is setting the hitters up, throwing that breaking ball and taking a little bit off it maybe today. That fastball looks got that extra step on it when it gets to the plate and the hitters are behind it.
Armando Reynoso is 2 for 7 on the year, and he swings and misses. 0-1 to the Rocky pitcher. Low, ball 1. 1-1 to Reynoso. Ball and 2 strikes now to Armando Reynoso. Isringhausen has not allowed a hit and has faced the minimum Rockies through the first 9. Second strikeout for Isringhausen as the Rockies go in order. No score after 2.5. We're back after this from your local Dodge dealer. Rapidly moving ball game. Tim McCarver along with Gary Thorne. A beautiful day here at Shea. And on Dunkin' Donuts Mets Mug Day, a crowd of about 25 to 28,000.
Gotta like that chapeau, don't you? Little bow on the front.
Isn't that great? That's a pink ribbon, so I don't guess John Franco distributed them to the fans also.
Yeah.
There's the Mets mug given away by Dunkin' Donuts today. Rubber game of a 3-game series. Cincinnati moving into Shea tomorrow night, and Tuesday Mark Portugal against Paul Wilson tomorrow night. Kevin Jarvis against Bobby Jones on Tuesday. You may remember Jones sent down for a couple of extended spring training assignments after 2 ineffective starts to start the season. Jeff Kent, the batter. Jeff had a 9-game hitting streak stopped yesterday when he went 0 for 3. Outside corner, strike 1.
It may have meant that Vinny Castillo was playing very deep at third base, and he just took a quick look down to see where Castillo moved to after he came charging in. He moved in about 2 steps. He was way back.
Castillo still way back at third. 0-1 to Jeff Kent. Breaking ball fouled away. 0-2 to Jeff.
Hey, Cleveland leads Boston 2-0.
Boston with the worst record in baseball. They've lost 9 of their last 10.
Ooh.
Roger Clemens 0-3 going for the Sox today at Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Curveball outside. 1-2 to Jeff Kent. No score here in the 3rd.
First managerial change. Will it be in Boston?
It's funny when a team gets off to a bad start, instead of talking about the players' ineffectiveness, the first thing you talk about is a manager being fired.
Yep.
Good splitter from Reynoso. Second strikeout for Armando. 1 out here in the 3rd inning, and Ray Ordonez coming up. We talked about Reynoso's move, and I thought, well, you know, he grew up in Mexico, still lives in Jalisco, Mexico. He's the youngest of 10 children, and I thought, I wonder if soccer had any play in his quick feet. And I asked him that before the game. You know, you don't want to talk to pitchers before the game. They've got their game face on and everything. Inside corner to Ordonez. 0-1 to Ray. And he said he played soccer growing up. He never had a real interest in it, but he did play it. He was very much affected by his oldest brother. He has 5 older brothers, 4 older sisters. And he said when they were growing up, all they did was talk about pitching. All 5 brothers pitched, 2 professional. So they have 6 boys, and all of them's primary position was pitching. So you can imagine the conversations around their dinner table. Talk about staying ahead. Staying ahead of your other guys with trying to get your food in time. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ordonez.
That's where the quick feet came
That's
from.
right. That's right. All the older guys trying to nudge him away from the table, I guess. 1-2 to Ordonez. Popped up right side. Easy play for Galarraga. And there are 2 outs here in the 3rd. Jason Isringhausen coming up.
Reynoso throws a lot of everything except a hard fastball. He doesn't have that. He's an off-speed pitcher, split-fingered pitch, keeps it down most of the time. He's a tough guy to line up on as a hitter because you just can't time him.
I think Todd Hundley showed that when he made the last out in the 2nd inning. He did not see a fastball in 5 pitches. Fastball to Isringhausen's outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Isringhausen, who has some pop. 1 for 4 this year. His first RBI against John Smiley on the 9th of April. 1-1 to Isringhausen. Breaking ball in there. Ball and 2 strikes now to Isringhausen. Breaking ball grounded towards second. Jason Bates up with it, and he throws out Isringhausen. That's 8 in a row now, retired by Reynoso. No score after 3. We're back after this from Cadillac. Score, top of the 4th inning, and we received some goodies from our friends at Kappa Kappa Skew. That is not a fraternity. That group was named when I made a comment about Lenny Dykstra catching a ball in that bizarre July 4th, July 5th game in Atlanta. 19-inning game. The Mets won. Made a comment that Lenny Dykstra was catching a ball with his cap askew, and Steve Zabriskie at the time said it sounds like a fraternity. Here's Gary Thorne for the play-by-play.
Kappa 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 Skew.
Kappa Kappa Skew.
Perfect. Scoreless game here. Very well pitched. Only 1 hit. And Jason Isringhausen, top of the order. Walt Weiss, who will bunt to get on. I mentioned his on-base percentage. He had 98 walks last year and a .403 on-base percentage. He took the highest percentage of pitches in the National League last year. He'll make you work. That's what he's doing right here. That one missing. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Barry Bonds led the league, the National League, in walks, and Walt Weiss with 98 was second to him.
Gotta like those numbers in your leadoff man, huh? Plus he can move people around. I mean, he could easily be a number 2 hitter, and at times in his career that's in fact what he's been.
He's a good bunter.
Good hit and run man. That one drilled into right field as Isringhausen got that one up. So there is the first hit off Jason Isringhausen today. Walt Weiss is on with a leadoff single.
Center fielder Quentin McCracken.
And looking over to see whether or not any signs might be on here. We saw Bichette run earlier and get thrown out by Hundley, who's thrown out 5 of 26 this year. Isringhausen was among the top 5 last year in stolen bases against as a pitcher. He has worked on that delivery to the plate to get the ball there faster. McCracken, they're looking for the bunt. He does square and drops it down to third. Kent was charging. Great bunt. Kent was in though and makes the play. Sacrifice moving Walt Weiss down to second base.
Right fielder Dante Bichette.
Sometimes you're willing to give up an out depending on how the other offense is producing, and the Mets have sent 9 men to the plate through the first 3 innings, so Don Baylor willingly giving up an out for the Thunder in his lineup. Bichette, Galarraga, Burks.
Second sacrifice for McCracken this year. Interesting, the Colorado has not won a game this year where they've had fewer than 4 runs. They rely on that offense. They make that move here, as Timmy said, because at least early on Reynoso's been on it. Dante Bichette, who drew a walk his first time up, 6 hits in his last 12 at-bats. With runners in scoring position, he is numero uno, a .583 average, getting people home. Second in RBIs in the league, 17. Fouls that one off as he got fisted. And it's a 2-strike count on Dante Bichette. Bichette 1 for 3 lifetime against Isringhausen. That man got out of the way, got the ball, and got his glasses back as they went flying as he moved to avoid being hit.
Nice that he caught that ball. Now maybe he can trade that ball for a tie that goes with his suit.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. 0-2 count, 1 away. Runner at second base, scoreless game. Got him to chase one, and he'll do that. Third strikeout for Izzy.
That's a terrific pitch by Jason Isringhausen, making Bichette reach. This is a perfect 0-2 or 1-2 pitch by Jason Isringhausen.
12th time Dante Bichette has gone down the strikeout route this season.
I'm only kidding, of course. But somehow that tie just does not go with that shirt.
He's trying to swap tie for a hat right there. Andres Galarraga hitting at .254. He leads this club in strikeouts with 19. He struck out more than anyone else in the National League last year. But with his power, they'll take the K's. 2 balls and no strikes, missed inside to him. Burks on deck. Walt Weiss led it off with a single, sacrifice down to second. He is there with 2 away. Andres Galarraga trying to pick up an RBI. The floater really got away from Isringhausen that time. 3-0. Would you give him a green light?
Well, I would, and if I'm Isringhausen, I pitch to him like it's 0-2 instead of 3-0. You're going to throw the fastball, that's fine. Make it be on the corner.
It's outside. He had the green light, though, by the looks of it. And he draws the walk. Second walk given up by Isringhausen with 2 down, 2 on now.
Most hitters are too anxious with the count 3 balls and no strikes, and they're not patient enough. So it's fine to throw the fastball in that situation, but if you're going to do it and you're trying to pitch around a hitter, try and make it be on the corner, and if you miss away to the right-hander, and that's what Isringhausen did.
9th best average in the league. Ellis Burks at .373. 2 on, 2 down. Nice ball right there. Burks has been a good clutch hitter early on this season for this team. He's 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. He'll spray the ball around. Noted for power because he started his career that way. But really more of a gap hitter than a power hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Burks is second in runs scored. We mentioned earlier he has gotten himself on base a lot this year. 3 home runs.
Back in the late 80s, the Mets very interested in Ellis Burks. There was talk about Sid Fernandez going to Boston. Burks trade. That was more than a rumor in those days.
Ordonez moving to second base. Weiss back.
It's hard to pick off a shortstop because he knows all the moves that a shortstop should make. Walt Weiss very cagey, not only a veteran, but he plays the position.
You saw he was leaning back. 1-1 in the dirt. Good stop by Todd Hundley on the breaking ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jason Isringhausen looking for his second win of the season. 2-1 the count. That one down the right field line, curving over. Husky the long chase, and it is a foul ball. A career .281 hitter, Ellis Burks, in his 10th major league season. He's been a good, consistent player. The injuries last year kept him out of a lot of games. He was under 300 at bats last year. When he's healthy, he just adds to the thump of this lineup. 2-2 count, 2 down. Fans want the K. Full count. Weiss off second base. Galarraga's at first. 2 down, 3-2. Runners go. Broken bat, foul ball. Jeff Kent, no play.
Rather frustrating when you make a good pitch on a hitter, like Ellis Burks. When he fouls the ball off, but doesn't put it in play. There are just some pitches that are designed to be put in play, and that's what a pitcher and a catcher wants. This ball right in on the hands. It was ball 4, but Burks fights it off in the stands.
Weiss and Galarraga will be going again. 3-2. Oh, he tags that one deep. Will it stay fair? No.
Conversely, there are certain balls that you don't want to be in play, and this is one of them. This ball fouled by about 3 feet down the left field line.
Couldn't wait to go on that one.
This is the rubber pitch of that sequence.
Yes. Third pitch on the 3-2 count. He's got another foul ball. Isringhausen took something off that pitch, and Burks ended up in front of it, hitting it hard. Again, a pitch up. Weiss and Galarraga go back to second and first, respectively.
Well, Gary, I don't think Isringhausen is a low ball pitcher with his fastball, but I do think he's got to keep his breaking ball down to be effective. And that ball, as you said, right around the letters, knuckle curve. Burks really looks locked in up there, doesn't he?
Fourth pitch on the 3-2 count. It's a great battle right here. That one down and away. Burks has struck out 9 times and drawn 7 walks this year. Here is the 5th 3-2 pitch by Isringhausen. Bases are loaded. Just missed.
Don Baylor's got to be very happy with that at bat by Ellis Burks. I mean, that was just a terrific at bat. Ball's in the hitting zone. He hammered just foul, and he fought off the other ones and then took a ball just below the knees.
So in the scoreless game here in the 4th inning, bases are loaded. Isringhausen against Vinny Castilla now. He's got a 5-game hit streak, 8 for 22 coming into this game. Hit into a double play his first time up. On this, that curveball.
That one home run off Kirk Reeder of the Montreal Expos, the 12th grand slam in Rocky history.
His team 4th in home runs right now in the National League. Here's the 0-1, 2 away.
Two wicked breaking balls to Castilla. I would imagine Vinny's going to see that pitch again.
And probably out of the strike zone, huh?
Yep.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Isringhausen, the 0-2 delivery. Strike 3 call. Came back on the inside. and gets out of the inning, and his buddy Bill Pulsiver smiling about it. No runs, a hit, 3 left. We remain scoreless. Now this from Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Vinny Castillo with the bases loaded and 2 out. First pitch, wicked curveball away. Second pitch, wicked curveball away. And the 0-2 pitch, a mistake. It's that simple. And Vinny Castillo takes it. A lot of people think that hitters only hit mistakes. They take them too.
Just didn't expect that to be there.
Right.
Third strikeout for Isringhausen. Johnson out in front of that one. Nice catch. That's why you bring your glove. Lance Johnson popped out his first time up. Lance still trying to get comfortable in his stance here. He's only had 4 hits in his last 20 at-bats. Batting .257, 3 doubles and 3 triples. Cat knocks it down. Reynoso 1 away. Bill Pulsiver, Jason Isringhausen, of course, best friends. Pulsiver out for the year with that elbow injury. Look at him on that last strikeout. That's a friend. Lance Johnson retired. He's 0 for 2 in the game. 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Each team with just 1 hit. Jose Vizcaino has the Mets hit a single that came in the 1st inning. He shows bunt. It's a ball. Gets away from Brito. Vizcaino has had good success against Reynoso. 6 hits and 15 at-bats in his career. He's got the good soft hands to lay back on the off-speed pitchers like Reynoso. Fouls that the other way. 1-1. Games going on in the National League today. Padres and Braves are rocking along. Cardinals off to a good start. That one towards second. Knocked down high hop Bates. And there are 2 away. Marlins and Dodgers, the Sunday night game.
At San Diego, at Atlanta, that's Fernando Valenzuela against Steve Avery.
Obviously in the 6th inning already. Pretty good pitching duel there.
Yeah.
2 down here. Gilkey taking a little extra time to get to the plate to give Jason Isringhausen a little longer rest, as the first 2 outs came fairly quickly here. Gilkey hit into a double play his first time up. Enters the game 8th in the league in slugging. Our Toyota American League scoreboard. Red Sox have come back to tie that with Clemens pitching. Breaking ball outside. Orioles and Rangers. See if they have another slugfest today. It'll probably be a 1-0 game.
26-7, the Rangers beat the Orioles. Most runs scored by an American League team since 1952.
Davey Johnson likes that 26-run mark against him. He had that with the Mets in Philadelphia. Gilkey waiting. The fastball is popped up shallow right. Bichette. And that'll do it. Good inning. Reynoso continues to rock along here. He retires the Mets in order. We remain scoreless. Now this from Chrysler Stadium. Rockies and Mets are scoreless. This game being brought to you by Nobody Beats the Wiz Total Home Entertainment Centers, and by your Tri-State Toyota dealer. I love what you do for me, Toyota. Jerry Thorne, Tim McIver, thanks for joining us, everybody, here on WWOR and a beautiful Sunday afternoon at Shea. This is Jason Bates. Isringhausen gets the strike. Bates grounded out his first time up. Batting .255, but 8 hits in his last 25 at bats for the second baseman of the Rockies. Down low, 1-1. Bates started on the bench last season with his team and earned the right to play by coming off the bench and spraying the ball around. Center field. Lance Johnson in.
You know who Jason Bates reminds me of? Wally Backman. You know, he's the same type of player. Gritty, plucky. Same number, as a matter of fact, that Wally used to wear. And
kind of built the same.
Yeah, yeah. Similar.
Wally, of course, who was here on the '86 World Champion Mets. And Timmy Tuffle shared some duties at second base. Kent and Hundley out, talking to Isringhausen. George Brito coming up, who struck out his first time up.
Wally Backman, who had that bunt base hit before Len Dykstra's home run, the 2-run shot that won Game 3 of the playoffs against Houston. Well, I still remember that playoff so vividly. Almost the overwhelming dominance of Mike Scott.
The Mets, knowing if they went one more game, they were not in good shape if they had to go against him again.
It would have been very difficult to come back against Scott in Game 7. And the Mets were behind Bob Knepper, the left-hander with, the left-hander with Houston. In the 9th inning of Game 6, Dykstra leading off with a pinch triple. They scored 3 to tie it. They won it in 16.
Isringhausen up high, 2-1. I was working with Bob Murphy, radio for that with the Mets. Went downstairs 3 times to do the celebration. As soon as I got down there, they were ripping down all the covering around the lockers, taking the champagne out. I came back upstairs. Here's the 2-1 foul back, 2-2 on the catcher Brito.
Thing about it was the Mets and the Astros were rained out that Sunday. They had to play on Monday, and the travel day, both teams exhausted, not getting into Houston till about 3 in the morning. A rather early game, was not a primetime game. I think the start was 3 o'clock.
He got him. Chased one outside, and Izzy's got 4 Ks, 2 down here in the 5th inning.
Here's a team that won 108 ball games that year during the regular season, and a miracle postseason to come up winner. Ball going through Buckner's legs, avoiding Mike Scott in Game 7 of the playoffs, coming back against Knepper. Dykstra home run after the Backman bunt. Unbelievable.
It was. If there is a thing called destiny, that's one year where you can throw it up as proof.
Yep.
that there is such a thing. They were meant to win. Falls behind here, 2-0. Hundley sees that Isringhausen's a little concerned and talking to himself, so he's going to go out as he faces the opposing pitcher here.
And in the World Series that year, the Mets trailing the Red Sox 2-0, going to Fenway.
Going to Boston.
People are talking about
sweep.
The ghost of Fenway disappearing. And the Mets, of course, winning 2 out of 3 up there, and came back here, and that 2 outs, nobody on, trailing by 2 in Game 6. Just unbelievable.
They still can't go back to Maine and talk about that series with anybody.
I wouldn't imagine.
They don't want to hear about it.
Nope.
There's no discussing that. It's very serious business. 3-0 count here. And Izzy walks the opposing pitcher, and he's really upset at himself. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts for him now. Reynoso is on.
Thousands of stories surrounding that Game 6, and one of my favorite is that Kevin Mitchell, who got a key pinch hit in that game in the 9th inning of that game, was in making plane reservations to go home.
You gotta believe.
Had just a shirt on. So Davey said, hey, where's Kevin? They went in to get him, put his pants on, went out and got a knock.
In the dirt. What a stop by Hundley. It was almost underneath the feet of Walt Weiss.
Oh, that was a terrific play by Todd Hundley with the backhand.
What's happened to Izzy here all of a sudden? Weiss has singled and flied to center. Runner at first base, the opposing pitcher Reynoso. And he misses again, and now doing what we said he did not do through the first 3+, and that was fall behind hitters. 2-0 on Weiss. And as we said, Walt Weiss, he's going to make you throw strikes here. Finds it there, 2-1. Isringhausen coming off the loss to Houston, where he worked only 4 2/3. Gave up 6 runs, but only 2 earned on 7 hits. He walked 5 in that game. Outside corner, 2-2. You think with Mitchell playing in Boston now, he doesn't have to have some big numbers for fans up there to forget the last time he was there?
Absolutely.
2-2 count. Not holding Reynoso at first. Chopped down. Fair ball. And that's it. Bronya right there. So Isringhausen works his way out of that one. Weiss retired. So are the Rockies. We remain scoreless. Now this from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. And welcome back. What a pitching duel we've got going here. Jason Isringhausen and 29-year-old Andre Reynoso. And they are scoreless with 1 hit each. Tim McCarver, we're rocking along here with the kind of game the Mets more inclined to want to see.
Yeah, and an odd game for both pitching staffs. I mean, how many times are the Mets and the Rockies, especially with the condition of their pitching staffs, how many times are they going to give up 1 hit through 4.5 innings? Not often, either here or especially at Coors Field. Butch Husky will try to remedy that. He grounded to third his first time up and takes a breaking ball outside. Low, ball 2, 2-0 to Husky. We mentioned that Butch off to that 2 for 30 start, and he's 8 for his last 24. So he has picked it up considerably. Pops this one up. Bates and Weiss converge, middle of the infield, and it's Walt Weiss to make the play. That is 9 in a row now, retired by Armando Reynoso. Break in the action, a quick break, I might add. Ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because it won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light. Rico Bronya grounded to first his first time up. One ball, no strikes to Bronya. Two and 0. No score. We're in the 5th. 1 out, nobody on. Very few base runners for both sides today. Tap toward first. Galarraga an easy play. So there are 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Often think about the beginning of players' careers. We talk about Husky given the job because of his strong spring. There's Butch sitting next to Rico. Players won't admit it, but fear can be an intimidator. And fear can also, if it's funneled properly, it can be a great motivator too. So fear can be either healthy or harmful, depending on what your makeup is. Todd Hundley struck out his first time up. A breaking ball. He went too far. Strike 1 to Hundley.
And Hundley's first at bat, as Timmy mentioned, he did not see a fastball. He didn't see one to start out here. Would be surprised if Reynoso would throw a fastball in the strike zone to him.
Looks like a fastball off the plate, says Brito. And that's what Hundley got. That's a Missouri fastball, just a show-me job.
Pitch.
Yeah. 1-1 to Hundley. Looks like a splitter here. That's a pitch he got him with the last time up, and it stays outside. 2 balls and a strike to Hundley. This is a situation with 2 out and nobody on, a scoreless game where you just think that there's a man on second and you have first base open. A pitch around situation. There's the splitter low. 3 balls and a strike now to Hundley.
Left-handers hitting .351 off Reynoso this year, and the only home run off him hit by a left-hander. Kent on deck.
Reynoso stares off the fastball. And there's the splitter fouled off of Brito's shin guard. So a full count to Todd Hundley.
Timmy, really tough for a hitter like Todd Hundley, who's got that power swing, to time himself here against Reynoso. It's very hard to come through that strike zone with a quick bat on a long swing here, because Reynoso's pitch takes so long to get through, and it's moving. He's got the breaking ball that'll go either way, and that splitter that goes down. So you see the big swing by Todd. Once you get out of it, it's a little topper, or you foul it in the ground as he did there.
Got him with the splitter. So Hundley down again. That's 3 strikeouts for Reynoso. Both pitchers have been masterly so far. We'll be back after this from the United States Postal Service. Of the Rockies, sometimes not only does a catcher give a sign, but he really wants his pitcher to make sure that he gets the ball down. At 3-2 pitch, and you could see him kind of patting the ground. Make sure you keep it out of the strike zone. It was a strike, but a nasty splitter to end that 5th inning. Quentin McCracken takes a fastball outside from Jason Isringhausen. No score here in the 6th. Each team with 1 hit. The only Rocky threat came with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Castillo getting Vinny Castillo on strikes. That came in the 4th inning, and a strike to McCracken. 1-1 to Q. Foul back, a ball and 2 strikes to McCracken.
That's what you want. That's more like it. That's what the Mets starters have struggled with, is getting those kind of numbers, to get ahead of the hitters. He's been able to do it here for the most part today. Last inning, the only one he struggled in.
Ground ball right side. Bronya underhanding to Isringhausen. 1 out here in the 6th. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, and use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, likewise prohibited. Tim McCarver, Gary Thorne on a beautiful day from Shea. Dante Bichette went too far on the breaking ball. 0-1 to Dante, who has walked and struck out. Fouled away. 0-2 to Bichette. Gary, you talked about listening to Bob Gibson along with Warner Wolf on a Washington, D.C. talk show this past week, and you mentioned on the pregame comments that Bob said whoever came up with this 6 innings as a starter, as a quality start. Bichette down on strikes, 2 outs here in the 6th. And that comes as no surprise to me that Gibson would make a remark like that.
We didn't want to come out in the 10th or the 11th or the 12th, the guy thinks.
I had the pleasure of catching him in probably the most remarkable year that a pitcher's ever had, 1968. 1.12 ERA. During 195 inning stretch, he gave up 1 earned run. That's over 10 games. Foul back. He gave up 2 runs, and that was on a wild pitch, and he still to this day says it was a pass ball. Should have. Fortunately, I wasn't catching that day. It was Johnny Edwards. It happened in a game again. Lynn Gabrielson scored the only run the Dodgers scored that day. This is inside the Colorado. 1-1. Gibson that year, by the way, had 34 starts, 28 complete games.
Unheard of. It's just unheard of.
Teams don't have that in a decade.
No.
Good splitter from Isringhausen.
We mentioned, though, I mean, it's clear the lack of pitching around Major League Baseball, evident by the struggle that most bullpens have. Dallas Green's one of those who believes pitchers should go deep. He's a former pitcher himself, wants his starters to go deep into a game.
Breaking ball misses, 2-2 to Galarraga.
And I think starters need to begin to develop that sort of attitude. I mean, to help their team.
Absolutely.
This one was close. Isringhausen. See, Todd Hundley had moved to the outside, pitched to the inside, but missed.
Breaking ball fouled away, 2-2. Not only to help their team, but to help themselves. Consider this. I mean, if I've got a lead 2-1 or 3-2, and I'm still strong, I'm not satisfied, and I don't want somebody else coming into the game and fooling with my lead.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to handle it myself.
Yeah.
Full count to Galarraga.
Point Bob Gibson was making was that it has become so prevalent, though, for starters that they are thinking that way.
Right.
They are thinking that if they get to the 6th inning, they have done a day's worth of work and expect somebody else to be coming on to pick it up.
Inside with the breaking ball. That's walk number 4 given up by Isringhausen. As Galarraga walks, and it'll bring up Ellis Burks, the left fielder. I think that thinking, or one of the reasons for that thinking, is probably the reason that major league teams have had to bolster their middle relief, and middle relief has come so important. I said four walks for Isringhausen. That's 5 for Jason. No balls and a strike to Ellis Burks. No score here in the 6th. This one hit deep to center field. Back is Johnson near the wall, and this ball is gone. Home run Ellis Burks, 2-0 Colorado.
That is the danger, of course, of walking anybody on this Colorado team. Any game, any team, but especially this one in the middle of the lineup. They have so many home run hitters. You give them a chance for that multi-run homer. And that's what happened here with 2 down. Boy, what a comeback for Burks, though. He is just shining here to start this 96 season.
That's the 2nd home run of the year hit off Jason Isringhausen, and the 2nd home run of the day hit in the major leagues today. Good breaking ball to Castilla. Paul O'Neill of the Yankees had a 3-run homer at the Metrodome up in Minnesota. Yankees lead 4-0. 0-1 to Castilla. Tap toward third. Kent throws out Castilla, but with 2 outs, the Rockies strike and lead it 2-0 after 5.5. We'll be back after this from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. Shot by Ellis Burks. That is the difference here in the bottom of the 6th with Jeff Kent leading it off for the Mets. Jeff struck out his last time up, his last and only time up.
Ellis Burks now has 4 home runs, and 3 of the 4 have come on the road. The second hit against Isringhausen. It was a pitch that was down, but he went to get it, and look where he drove it. Dead center field over the 410 mark, well over.
Some 430 feet straight away. This one hit the right field and deep. Bichette over. Middle of the track makes the play. Armando Reynoso has allowed 1 Met base runner this afternoon. That was an infield hit by Jose Vizcaíno in the 1st inning, and Jose was erased on a double play by Bernard Gilkey. So through 5 1/3, the 30-year-old right-hander has faced the minimum. Ray Ordonez now the batter. Breaking ball for a strike. Ordonez popped to first his last time up. Line drive, base hit, left field. Ordonez with the first Met extra base hit is its 2nd with 1 out, and Isringhausen will be allowed to hit for himself, and this to me is a no-brainer. A lot of people would disagree with that. It's an arguable point.
Ordonez, who had a bad first at-bat against Reynoso because he had not faced him before. That's a good sign for a hitter to come back. He adjusted to all the off-speed stuff and pull that one down the line to pick up the double.
I know what you're thinking. How can it be a no-brainer if it's an arguable point?
Because you're right.
Well, I think so. I just think if you're going to, you know, the strength of this club, their starting pitching. And if you're going to build confidence in the starting pitching, you give your pitchers a chance to win a ball game. Not that by pinch hitting somebody that you're, Isringhausen still couldn't win the game, but he's a pretty good hitter. He will bunt occasionally. That signed him as an outfielder. Matter of fact, he had 15 home runs for Lewis and Clark Community College his freshman year. Then he said his stroke went south, and that's when he picked up pitching. All one to Isringhausen.
A smart man, too.
Yep. Two nothing Rockies. Ordonez on at second with one out here in the sixth. Tapped foul, 1-1 to Isringhausen. Another reason the bullpen has been struggling. In all but 2 games this year, the bullpen has given up at least 1 run. Two runs on 2 hits through 6 innings is good pitching, too. So this is his reward to be able to hit here. And a balk is called on Reynoso.
That's a big call. You see Don Baylor going through the motion he saw on the mound from Reynoso when the balk was called for that arm movement. Now you got that runner at third, and with Reynoso's throwing that split-fingered pitch, you got a chance for the wild pitch. No argument by Baylor.
And you could read Baylor's lips. He's saying with the pitcher hitting, how in the world can you balk right there? And it was called immediately. You could see that left arm moving. Don Baylor took his gum out, fired it to the ground, and he's got a good point with the pitcher hitting. Where's the concern? Slider, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Isringhausen.
Reynoso, in past years, has been prone to the wild pitch, so Mike Covage has really got Ordonez at third, jumping. Castilla's trying to hold him close. I mean, it matters here.
Infield in for the Rockies. A good play by Baylor. Line to left. Burks makes the play. Ordonez will try to score and make it. 2-1 Rockies.
His second RBI, a sacrifice fly. That's how he got the other RBI. Jason Isringhausen helping himself. Reynoso got that down and away. That was a pretty good pitch. Isringhausen just stayed in there.
He really did, Gary. Splitter to Johnson. You could see the left foot of Isringhausen go into the ball. There was no way that he was going to get him out away then. He was looking away, he got it away, and drove it deep enough to score Ordonez, and the Mets are on the board. 2 balls, no strikes to Johnson.
Boy, Lance Johnson's adjusted a little bit here as he moved up in the batter's box after seeing Reynoso throw the off-speed pitches the first couple of at-bats. He's moved up to try and jump on something now. He's up about a half a step in the batter's box. Murray was the other at-bats.
That's an indication a hitter is looking for the all-speed stuff. 3-0 to Johnson. There's a strike. 3-1. Lance had 10 home runs last year. I mean, he will on occasion try to jerk one. It's 3-1 to Johnson. This is the time to do it. Hit hard. Second base. Nice play. Bates throws out Johnson, but the Mets are on the board. It is now 2-1 Colorado. We're back after this from Chrysler. We're still livid over that balk by Reynoso that sent Ordonez to third. And Ray scored on the sac fly by Jason Isringhausen as Gary Thorne back in for the play-by-play.
Good one. 7th inning, 2-1. Baylor checking the lineup card. Jason Bates leads it off here against Isringhausen. Down to first. Nice play by Rico Bronya. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Hey, I'm particularly sensitive to a catcher in that situation, Gary. George Brito talking to Frank Funk, the pitching coach. Pitching coach always going to the catcher, and Brito sitting in front of Don Baylor, and Baylor didn't even look at him. Almost like a child looking for a compliment from his parent.
It's not coming.
No, it is not coming.
Isringhausen, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. 2 runs, 2 hits. The home run by Burks for the 2 Colorado have on the board. Ooh, got him. Brito hit. Second hit batter. Now Don Baylor's got to make a decision. A no-brainer?
I think so. Reynoso, Baylor's kind of in a similar situation as Dallas Green. He needs confidence, needs to inject confidence in his starters, and Reynoso in a bunting situation probably, and he's got a 1-run lead.
Go on at first base is Brito. Ellis Burks also has been hit by a pitch in this game by Jason Isringhausen. First 2 hit batters that Izzy has had this year. Glenn has talked with Reynoso now. Kent's moving in at third. Rico Bronya will cheat a little off the bag at first, holding the runner. 1 down. Reynoso popped it up. Big out.
Well, I'll tell you, managers have a lot of ways to tell, in this case, the battery that he's not happy. He's just leaving. He's afraid he might lose it.
Not even going to let him see him.
No. So he didn't even look at Brito, and Brito, in his opinion, caused the balk, and now Reynoso pops it up. Never would know that Don and his Rockies have a 2-1 lead.
Wait and see if he returns. There are now 2 down, and that will bring up Walt Weiss. So Reynoso's having it tough both ways, on the mound and at the plate. Weiss batting at .359. They'll back up at first base now with Brito on, and a left-handed hitter up. Bronya will play behind the base runner. He'll back off a good deal from where he is right now. Weiss is 1 for 3. See Bronya at first, just long enough to hold him, and then back where he can field a ground ball. Inside, a ball and a strike. The return of Don Baylor. Talk about giving a guy his space. He's got no problem over there finding room. 2-1.
Managers can do that. The guy that I played for that was could glare a hole. He could burn a hole through your uniform with his eyes was Gene Mock. Came in one day after, and he was right. I called the wrong pitch. It was a dumb pitch selection on my part, and I knew it. And he was looking at me, and I said, I wish you would explode. I wish you would just yell at me. He didn't say a word, which made it worse. And that's what Baylor is doing right now. These guys can see the inside, and it makes it that much worse on the guys playing.
2-2 called strike 3. Isringhausen. Knuckle curve, 6 strikeouts. A hit batter left on base. 7th inning stretch time. 2-1. Rockies now this Premier Tri-State. Jose Vizcaino. The Mets down by 1. Reynoso misses inside. Great pitching duel. Second outstanding game in a row played here at Shea. Good one yesterday. Another good one here today. Well played by both teams. Busy hitting at .245. Right back to Reynoso. 1 for 3 for Vizcaino.
Day of all times, bottom of the 7th inning, and that's the home stretch of all times for a mascot not to come in front of a manager. This was it. Mr. Met parading in front of Don Baylor. Don failing to share in the mirth. He's
Look at that.
probably ready to choke him. Get out of my face. My pitcher balked a 1 run to third base. Get out of my face.
And he did.
And he did, too.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, man, was that funny.
Bernard Gilkey's 0 for 2. Gilkey has flied out, hit into a double play towards short. Walt Weiss to the cat, and there are 2 down.
Now that was a 1-6-3 as Reynoso, an excellent fielder, got a glove on it. The ball caromed right to Walt Weiss. It would have been a more difficult play had Reynoso not put the webbing of the glove on it.
Butch Husky up with 2 down. He has popped out and grounded out. Each team just 2 hits in this game. Mets have not stranded a base runner. The ones they've had on have scored. 1, the sac fly. Ordonez scored after Izzy picked up the sac fly. Husky 5 hits in his last 18 at-bats now. It's pretty good numbers against Reynoso. 4 for 11 with 1 home run off him. 2-0 count on Husky. 2 runs for the Rockies coming on the 2-run homer by Ellis Burks in the 6th inning after the 2-out walk to Galarraga. 2-0 breaking ball in for a strike. Little breeze blowing out here at Shea Stadium today. Few clouds, lots of sun, magnificent day. 2-1 delivery. That's going to be a base hit. Fought off an inside pitch, and Husky is on a 2-out single here in the 7th inning. The 3rd hit for the Mets. A double and 2 singles.
First baseman Rico Brogna.
So in Texas, Brady Anderson incredibly has led off the game with his 4th consecutive leadoff homer.
Wow. My goodness.
That's amazing.
It is.
Husky will come out for the pinch runner. This has worked once in the same situation in this series yesterday. And Rico Brogna will have the RBI chance. The pitching coach Frank Funk on the bullpen phone here while the conference goes on at the mound.
Even though you're going to use 2 men in this situation, I might opt for Tim Bogar and save Chris Jones in a pinch hitting duty. I mean, yesterday it was 1 out when he went in as the pinch runner. Brogna doubled off the left field wall and Jones scored, whereas Husky may not have scored. Probably wouldn't have scored. But today with 2 outs, you are taking your best pinch hitter out of the game and using him as a pinch runner.
2 down for Rico Brogna. Rico has grounded out twice in this game. He has never had a hit against Reynoso. He is 0 for 9 lifetime against him. Well, 8 or 9.
That was one of those arguable
no-brainers. Should have looked before I read. There's something like a 1-0 count. Jones off first base. Tough pitch right off the fist. 1-1. Ken Griffey, Don Baylor, Frank Funk in that order there. The coaching staff. Colorado Rockies lead the series against the Mets 3-2 this year.
Jones has to be very careful at first base because of that. He just fell on the bag then.
Frank Howard down there keeping him close. He has not gotten very far off first base. The Galarraga holding. 2 down, 1-1 count. 7th inning. Rockies lead it 2-1. Just a jump step away.
Oh, that's another reason, in my opinion, I wouldn't use Jones as a pinch runner here. Reynoso's going to keep him very close anyway.
Reynoso, 1-1. Brony ahead on the count here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Rico 7 doubles on the season. He is 4th in the league early on in doubles. Couple of home runs. Outfield straight away on him. Center fielder now. Kraken's moved over a little to left. 2-1. Staying away and missing. 3-1. The Kraken's moved over, playing Rico Brony to hit towards that gap. Big hole in right center. And deep.
And your outfield is particularly deep because of the count. 1-run ball game, 2 outs. Try to guard against the extra base hit, or if it is a double, a short double.
3-1 delivery. Foul back outside of third base. Came back inside again on that pitch, or tried.
See Galarraga at first base asking Don Baylor to hold him on. Normally you'd play behind him, but because of Reynoso's move in a 1-run game, I think he ought to be on the bag right now. But I think Baylor said to play behind him. This is a, you know, you really don't know in this situation that Galarraga wouldn't be better off if he were on the bag holding against Jones, getting an extra jump. In case of an extra base hit.
Galarraga's backed up, playing behind Jones at first. 3-2 the count, 2 down. Jones going. Fouled off. Do it again. The other thing, as we've said, they do not play Rico to pull.
Right.
They think he's going to go the other way. Another reason why you might want Galarraga hanging around first base.
Sure.
2-1 Rockies lead. A lot of managing going on right here. 3-2 again. Galarraga stays behind the runner at first. Jones on the fly and just fights that one off. So Rico, for the 3rd time, will battle on this 3-2 count. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, and he struck him out. Reynoso, a very well pitched game. His 4th strikeout, and he hasn't walked anybody. There you see our Miller line score, and we'll return after this message. Top on the Ellisburg's 2-run homer. Chris Jones will stay in the ball game and play in right field for Husky, the person whom he came on to run for. And our pitching duel continues. 2-2-0 for the Rockies. 1-3-0 for the Mets. Jason Isringhausen, 5 walks. Reynoso hasn't walked anybody and has struck out 4. These 2 pitchers have really gone at it. And that one popped up to shallow left field by McCracken. Bernard Gilkey has it. And there's one away here in the 8th inning. Day in, day out at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up and never let you down. So make it a Bud Light. It's where the Rockies, of course, are so dangerous in these close ball games because of the home run power they have in the middle of this order that Isringhausen now has to face. Bichette will be followed by Galarraga. Bichette has walked and struck out twice. He has a couple of home runs, one of them on the road, so he's off to a great road start and hitting homers.
Well, he didn't have his first road home run last year until his 39th game. He only had 9 on the road.
Hit 17 straight home runs at Coors Field before he had a dinger on the road. You see Bichette's numbers this year. 1-1 delivery by Isringhausen. It's the strike. Knuckle curve in the outside corner. 1-2. Rockies' fourth best average. There's Galarraga in the National League, but ninth in runs, relying on that long ball to pick him up. 1-2 pitch. Just fighting that off to stay alive. Stays 1-2. Rockies pitching staff, and you wouldn't know it by the way Reynoso's pitching, is last in the league in ERA. Izzy with a 1-2 delivery. Did he go? Yep. Ed Rapuano making the call at first base. And Bichette becomes the second out of the inning. 2 down. Look at our National League scoreboard. Pirates have gotten off to a pretty good start this year, as have the Expos. 2 surprise teams. 2 down. Andres Galarraga.
Gary, the scoreboard shows that Fernando Valenzuela still in there for the San Diego Padres, as is Steve Avery. No score in the 9th inning.
Wow. That game has really flown along. Galarraga fouls that one off. Galarraga came into this game hitting .316 against the Mets with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. He has drawn 2 walks and flown out to center field in this game. That one will be a base hit to center. So Galarraga's on with 2 down. Galarraga scored ahead of Ellis Burks in the 6th inning after he had walked.
Ellis Burks.
3 hits now for the Rockies.
Well, we understand from downstairs, our guys downstairs say that Fernando Valenzuela is not in the game. They believe he went 6 innings, but the Padres taking a 1-0 lead over Atlanta and Steve Avery. And they're still batting in the top of the 9th inning.
Keep an eye out for a final on that one. 2 down. Burks. Curveball just missed. Burks with his 4th home run of the season in the 6th inning, bringing in the 2 runs for the Rockies. He's been hit by a pitch and walked. 2 for 2 in his career now against Isringhausen. Fastball that misses down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Burks hitting at .254, 13 runs batted in. Now he's batting more than .254. .383. That's more like it. Fastball that misses inside, and it's a 3-0 count on Burks. Now, .383 with 4 home runs and 11 RBIs for Burks. Galarraga's on at first base. Rico Brogni is holding. We are in the 8th inning. Each team with 3 hits. Rockies up by 1. Three and 1. Outfield deep and playing Ellis Burks to pull. He hit the home run at center field. Hard to third. Kent's got a force at second. Vizcaino's there, and that'll do it. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Rockies up by 1. Now this from Bell Atlantic. An outstanding performance by the Rockies starter Reynoso. 7 innings. A run on 3 hits against him. He didn't walk anybody and struck out 4, but he is done for the day. And Mike Munoz will come on in relief. There you see the numbers as Don Baylor goes to the left-hander against the Mets here. 7 hits in the 7 innings work, couple of walks and 5 strikeouts for Munoz thus far this season. And the changes, Baylor will put McCracken in right field, moving him over from center. And Walker will come on to play center field. Walker will be batting in the number 9 spot in the lineup. The pitcher will bat third where Bichette was hitting. There's Larry Walker. Bottom of the 8th inning. Rockies up by 1. Jason Isringhausen on the right, waiting to see if his teammates can get even or get him a lead. This will turn Todd Hundley around to bat right-handed. He's batting .231 right-handed, 1 home run, as opposed to over .400 from the left side. Jason Isringhausen, by the way, has set a new career high in strikeouts. He now has 8 in this game. Previous high against 7 had come against Montreal on August 15 of last year.
Darren Holmes, the right-hander, is ready for Don Baylor. This might be a situation where Munoz pitches to only 1 batter, and that's Todd Hundley.
1-1 to Hundley. This is outside. Munoz behind on the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
We've got to go back, as this has been a dandy as far as managing is concerned. A lot of decisions for the managers to make. One that, in my opinion, Dallas Green shouldn't have made was pinch running Chris Jones in the 7th inning for Butch Husky. Because by doing that, now Jones is batting 4th. Now it could be that Jones ends up batting in this game. But you lose that power possibly. Whereas in an inning like this, you might want to use your best pinch hitter here in the 8th inning.
2-2 the count. Munoz fastball. Didn't get the call, wanted it. The count is full, 3-2. Hundley, Kent, Ordonez due up here in the bottom half of the 8th inning for the Mets. Munoz, the left-hander. Hundley going the other way. Towering fly ball. McCracken in that dangerous corner. Makes a nice catch. He just moved over from center to right and got tested early.
Third baseman, Jeff Kent.
So advantage Don Baylor by not only taking Reynoso out of the game, but as much as improving his outfield defense. Dante Bichette may have caught this ball, but clearly McCracken a better outfielder, and sure enough, Munoz was in to pitch to 1 batter, Todd Hundley. That's it.
So Munoz has done his job as he gets Hundley, the power hitter, turned around, batting right-handed, and gets him out. This call to the bullpen brought to you by NYNEX. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Holmes, as the Mets trail by a run, and the Mets are hoping that Holmes is not as effective as he was on Friday night. He came into the game in the 6th inning and retired 6 Mets in a row. Last year, 6-1 and 14 saves. Very effective for Don Baylor and the Rockies.
So Don Baylor pushing the buttons here in this one with a 1-run lead, trying to preserve that. With Kent coming up, brings on the 29-year-old right-hander. Dallas Green's club with the sac fly by Jason Isringhausen, the only run in the 6th inning. Our Toyota American League scoreboard. It's been a seesaw game, Cleveland-Boston. O'Neill the home run for the Yankees. Orioles Rangers, after all those slugfests, now a 1-run game. Kent is 0 for 2, has struck out and flied to right. Holmes with the overhand fastball in for a strike. Curveball, slider, fastball. 14 of 18 in saves last year and 13 holds for Darren Holmes. Kent hitting .263. Lines that one into left field for a base hit. So Kent is on. Ordonez coming up in our new Dodge quiz. Which National League MVP was a 7th round choice of the St. Louis Cardinals in the '79 NFL draft? '79 National Football League draft.
But it had to be an MVP after '79.
Guaranteed.
Good.
No brainer. Strike to Ordonez.
It's an arguable no-brainer.
That's right.
MVPs in 1979, Willie Stargell and Keith Hernandez. Kind of have to go down the line. Willie McGee, MVP in 1985. Kirk Gibson in 1988 with the Dodgers.
Was he a draft of the Cardinals?
I don't know. But I know he was a great football player.
Ordonez up the middle. Weiss diving, makes the play. Can't get it to second. Infield single, Ordonez.
Had Weiss come up with this ball, he would have had a play only at second base, but it hit the heel of the glove. He tried to grab it with his bare hand. Watch the right hand come out, but he misses it. So another hit for Ordonez, his second of the game. And the Mets with a chance to score here.
Frank Funk, the pitching coach, again on his way out now, as Brent Maine, left-handed hitter, has been announced as the pinch hitter for the Mets for Isringhausen. Well, let's see who that was. The National League MVP, also a 7th-round draft choice of the St. Louis Cardinals in the NFL draft. Answer is.
I just knew Gibson was a wide receiver at Michigan State. I didn't realize he was drafted by the Cardinals. But 79, I think, is either a tight end or a wide receiver, I believe.
Tight end, I think.
Tight end.
Yeah. Well, the Mets have 2 on, 1 out. Iskanic working in the bullpen. Brent Maine takes the pitch outside for a ball. Maine 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter. 3 for 7 overall. Isringhausen hoping now that he's out of the game, Mets can get the lead right here in the bottom of the 8th. Breaking ball for a strike from Holmes. 1-1.
Most pitchers go to their fastball as their staple pitch. Holmes is just the opposite. Everything works around his breaking balls. Real fine curveball, slider. I think his fastballs is probably his 3rd best pitch.
And a pretty good pitch. He's a 90-mile-an-hour plus sometimes on the fastball. He's tough against left-handers. That one blooped foul. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down. John Franco, Verdepoto in the Mets bullpen. Last year, left-handers hit only 179 against Holmes. Right-handers hit 280. Good curveball and the good slider helping out against the lefties. Kent on second. Ordonez on first. Mets are down a run, but they've got 2 on here in the 8th. Foul ball. Galarraga gloved it anyway to make sure. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Mets have stranded only 1 base runner, and that came in the 7th inning. This is the first inning where they've had 2 base runners on at the same time. Holmes 1-2 delivery. Maine rips it foul. Well, he's been all over the place. Hit him down the left field line, down the right field line, fouling off wherever Holmes is putting it in. Maine with an RBI opportunity right here. Again, the 1-2 pitch way inside to him. 2-2. Leadoff batter Lance Johnson on deck. Maine played in 110 games with Kansas City last year, hitting .251. Kent with a lead at second. 2-2 the count. And Maine fights it off again. Jason Isringhausen completing his work. 8 solid innings for Izzy in this game. He gave up just 3 hits, 2 runs, the 2-run homer by Ellis Burks, the blow. 5 walks and a career high 8 strikeouts for Isringhausen. Again, 2-2 outside and a full count. Nice stop made by Brito.
Now, these last 2 innings have been terrific innings as far as strategy is concerned. Do you send the runners here? I think judging from the at-bat that Maine has had thus far, he's proven that he can make contact. I think you send the runners here. Because if he hits it hard, you don't send the runners. He hits it hard to a middle infielder. It's probably going to be a double play. Brent is not a fast runner.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Infield double play depth. Kent at second. Ordonez at first. No throw. Three-2 delivery to Brent Maine. Swung on a towering fly ball to right. McCracken. Runners play it halfway. 2 down.
Center fielder Lance.
So with 2 away, it'll leave it up to Lance Johnson.
Larry Walker in center field moving in a few steps. And now Ellis Burks properly, the left fielder, coming in about 4 steps. Being moved in by Ken Griffey. Rockies hoping they'll have a play at the plate if Johnson does hit a ball hard to the outfield.
2 away. Strike to him. Lance Johnson 0 for 3 in this game. He has struggled at Shea this season with just that 178 average and only 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position so far for Johnson, who has in his career has been a very good clutch hitter. 320 last year with the White Sox in the clutch. Overhand again to him. Strike 2. To the count. There are 2 down. 1-run lead for the Rockies. And it gets away from Brito. Kent goes over to third. Ordonez down to second.
Some of the Rockies players before the game talking about how well George Brito does on balls in the dirt. I'm not too sure this ball was in the dirt. That ball actually was about 6 inches off the ground, and Brito, instead of turning the glove over, tried to catch it with the glove toward the ground, and that's a pass ball, properly scored.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 in scoring position. Johnson check swing again. Ball down low. They check it third. Did not go around, says Terry Tatum.
Kind of nail biting here because Johnson's looked bad on the breaking balls, but the breaking balls have to be down to be effective. And Brito smothers this one.
Turned the glove the right way that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Johnson. Hard to first. Fair ball! Kent will score. Ordonez will score. On his way to third, Lance Johnson. Relay throw by Jason Bates. Not in time. Isringhausen's got a chance to win it.
Breaking ball to Lance Johnson. This one is up in the strike zone, right inside the line. It's interesting, that pass ball, as Johnson gets a triple, his 4th of the year. That ball down the line, Galarraga may have been on the line, maybe, had Brito not missed that ball, because then your go-ahead runs on it first and not at second. No happier man in the ballpark than that man, Jason Isringhausen.
Big 2-out hit Lance Johnson, who collects 2 RBIs on that 4th triple to give the Mets the 3-2 lead. And Vizcaino trying to add to it. He's 1 for 3 today. Johnson with 4 now on top in the National League in 3 baggers. And 6 runs batted in for the Mets center fielder. 1-1 the count on Vizcaino. 2-1. Franco will be coming on for the save. Lance Johnson, who had first couple of pitches on that at bat, was struggling with that curveball. Hung tough. Another one buried in the dirt. Brito blocks it. 3-1. Kent and Ordonez picking up the singles. The triple by Johnson bringing him home. (3-1) and he walks it. First walk given up by a Rockies pitcher today. And Don Baylor's on his way. So the Mets, coming alive here in the 8th inning, have now chased Holmes, and yet another comeback game. Mets on top, 3-2. We'll be back after this from Chrysler.
Triple to Lance Johnson after that very important pass ball, important as far as the Mets are concerned. And now Kurt Leskonic, the stopper, who had a save in Friday night's game. He is their go-to guy in the late innings, and Don Baylor figuring we cannot go deeper in this inning without using our stopper.
So Leskonic comes on. Bernard Gilkey up. Gilkey is 0 for 3. Runners at first and third with 2 down. Ball 1 to him. New York Mets making comebacks. Their middle name here at the start of this season. 1-0 delivery, foul back by Gilkey, who's batting at .343. A 3-2 lead. And the Mets know it wouldn't hurt to add to it. Castilla, Bates, Brito due up in that 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fake to third, look to first, nobody moving. And Franco ready to come on to face them. 1-1. Standing pitchers duel today at Shea Stadium. The Mets just hanging in, having left only 1 base runner through 7 innings. Coming up here in the 8th inning with the 2 runs. Runner goes, foul back. Vizcaino is on his way to second base. Lance Johnson's the runner at third.
Give you an idea of how futile the Mets offensive attack was against Reynoso. They have had more base runners on here in the 8th inning than they had through the first 7 innings.
Well, he was tough. They were happy to see Reynoso out of there. Second time on the fake throw to third. 1-2 the count. Vizcaino running again, and it's fouled off by Gilkey. 2 down here. baseball day at Shea. 1-2. Runner goes towards short, and the throw will be made by Weiss to get the final out of the inning. So Gilkey's retired, but 2 runs on 3 hits. 2 are stranded, but the Mets have a 3-2 lead going to the 9th after this from Acura. Essringhausen, a quality 8 innings worth of work in this game.
Relieved by John Franco. Now, Franco came in the game yesterday. He worked 2 innings and got the win. He retired the last 6 in a row to face him in game 1 in the 10th inning by the Jose Vizcaino base hit. But Franco gave up a home run to Andres Galarraga. So it was a blown save and a win yesterday, and he is hopeful that the same thing doesn't happen again this afternoon.
Take a look at our Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary for the Rockies. Outing for Reynoso that he'll be non-decisioned in. Couldn't pitch much better than that. Burks, the 2-run homer in the 6th inning, accounting for their runs. Essringhausen, there are the 2 runs and 3 hits he surrendered. Johnson, the big triple, and the Mets have not had a 2-game win streak this season. Could get it here.
Gary, it brings us back to our opener today, and it's really ironic that we were emphasizing that with our opening game comments, but you know, the quality start is a guy who starts the game and wins the game. That's the way it's defined simply. I mean, Armando Reynoso did a great job today, but he's got a no decision to show for it. We also talked about, you know, if you're a starter, you don't want the bullpen coming in messing the game up for you, and that's what has happened for Reynoso.
So Vinny Castilla in the 9th inning will lead it off. He's got a 5-game hit streak on the line, having taken an 0 for 3 today. Batting .288 on the season. Bates, Brito, due up. Franco, strike in the inside corner, 1-1. Vinny Castilla, 5 for 16 against the lefties. You see the numbers against Franco in his career. Off the fist. Franco ahead on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. That's trying to pick up the win here at home. They have won 3 and lost 6. John Franco, 2nd day in a row, as Timmy said, on here against the Rockies. Does not want to end up with that 4th hitter up this inning, and that's Walker. Batting in the 9 spot, fouled off. 1-2. Franco after that 298th career save. 1-2 delivery. Chased a high fastball and fouled it off. It remains a ball and 2 strikes.
John Franco can exhale now. Vinny Castilla, a very good high fastball hitter. That's not usually a place that John is wild. If he's wild, it's low and away to right-handers. Castilla, with a mighty swing, comes up empty.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. One down.
Second baseman Jason Bates.
An acid tablet necessary here. This is some inside gas. Right on the corner.
Castilla looked back, but it was there. Here's Jason Bates. 0 for 3 today. Mets leading at 3-2. 2 balls and no strikes on Bates. 0 for 4 in his career against Franco. Brito. Trinidad Hubbard's come out to take his spot in the on-deck circle. 2-0, and that's a foul ball. 2 balls and 1 strike on Bates. So it would be Trinidad Hubbard due up next, and then if it went to the number 9 spot, power hitter Larry Walker.
Jeff Kent just went to his letters asking Bobby Wine in the dugout if he wanted him to guard the line. He wasn't on the line. Now he's still asking, you want me to move over? And Bobby Wine said, just back up. But they want him to back up, not necessarily over.
2-1. He backs up a good deal from where he was. Bobby Wine positioning the infield.
Got to be back farther now. Bates isn't going to bunt right now.
3-1. Walked him. Danger, danger. Trinidad Hubbard.
Trinidad Hubbard.
All kinds of positioning going on here.
Well, you don't know about Hubbard, and then Wine giving Jeff Kent the hit sign. That means to back up a little bit, and that's what Jeff's doing.
Trinidad Hubbard comes on as the pinch hitter. 1 out, runner at first base. Grounds it towards the middle. Base hit. Making the turn will be Bates. He'll go to third, and Hubbard comes through. Runners at first and third with 1 out. Hubbard now 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter.
This ball with a lot of topspin on it, just out of the reach of Jose Vizcaino. It may have gone under the glove. Bates going to third, and now the potential tying run at third with less than 2 outs.
And all those changes that were made earlier in the game now weigh heavily, because in the number 9 spot you have the center fielder Larry Walker. With 5 home runs and 14 RBIs. A left-handed hitter who can drive the ball. So Franco in trouble here with 1 out. He'll look for the ground ball double play. Walker getting his first at bat. Ball 1. There are Walker's numbers on the season. Walker has tagged Franco pretty hard. 4 for 6 against him. Has struck him out twice. Fastball 1-1. Leadoff batter Walt Weiss on deck. Mets lead at 3-2. We're in the 9th inning. Double play ground ball could end it. Base hit. Tie it. First and third. 1-1 to Walker. 2 balls and 1 strike. Runners off first and third. Franco the check. 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike on Larry Walker.
Well, a walk to Bates, and then a 1-0 count to Trinidad Hubbard, and now Larry Walker. 3 balls and a strike.
Timeout taken here as Todd Hundley wants to go out to talk to Franco.
Trinidad Hubbard at first base talking to Ken Griffey. I don't think he'll be running here. He probably will be running 3 and 2. If you're Todd Hundley, the catcher, if he does run and Walker swings through it or the pitch is a strike, you look the runner back at third and throw through. You can't afford to have the potential go-ahead run. Steal second uncontested.
3-1 the count. Walker strike 2, 3 and 2. Hittable pitch he didn't get. 3-2, 1 down. Runners off first and third.
Don Baylor not sending Hubbard at first base.
Bates at third, Hubbard at first.
You don't send him, and there's a hard ground ball to the infielder, either Ordonez or Vizcaíno, this game's over.
Walker has hit into one double play this year. 3-2 delivery. Runner goes. They're loaded. Ball four. So John Franco, who struggled yesterday and did not get the save even though he got the win, in a big jam here in the top of the ninth inning with one out, bases loaded.
I think the alarming thing about John this afternoon is that he's wild high. He walked Walker on the high pitch. He walked Jason Bates on a high fastball. If the ball is not hit hard to either Kent or Bronya at first or third, then they do have the option of coming home if they don't think they can get the double play. But there's that high fastball to Larry Walker, putting him aboard. Now no place to put Walt Weiss.
Walt Weiss has struggled as a clutch hitter, as good a contact hitter as he is. Infield, first and third in, double play depth, second and short. Bates, Hubbard, Walker, the base runners. Walt Weiss takes the strike on the outside corner. Weiss is a switch hitter, batting .250 right-handed, .388 left. And only .182 with runners in scoring position. This down low to Walt Weiss. Bates, the one who could tie it, with the Mets leading 3-2. He's at third. Trinidad Hubbard, potential go-ahead at second base. And Walker at first. Outfield is in because Weiss is not a power hitter. So they are drawn in with a huge gap in left center. They play him to go the other way.
Give you an idea of how powerless he is from the right side. He has one career home run as a right-hander.
Ninth inning. Mets trying to preserve the lead here and win a ball game. 1-1 delivery to Weiss. Strike call. He tried to get the ball called on that by jumping away, but it's 1-2. One-two delivery. That one is inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Another oddity today. We have not seen the changeup from Franco. He's thrown all fastballs since coming in.
Yep.
That is rare that he would do that.
Bases loaded. 1 out. 2-2 the count. Weiss loops that one towards center field. Johnson coming. Can't get it. Bates will score. Bobble making the turn. Here comes Trinidad Hubbard. The relay gets away from Hundley. Over to third goes Walker. Down to second base goes Walt Weiss. And they finally retrieve it to hold him up. Bates and Hubbard score. Jason Esringhausen will not get a win, and the Rockies lead 4-3.
The reason that Hubbard had held up between second and third, he wasn't sure that Johnson was going to catch the ball. But it became an in-between hop. Johnson bobbled the ball, allowing Hubbard to make the decision to try to score and eventually score. The ball hitting off the heel of the glove. Bates scores easily. And now here comes Hubbard. Franco out in front of the plate. John should have been behind the plate backing up. It could be 2 errors on that play. So far, no error given. Seems to me it's got to be at least one. Got to be one.
Credit Walt Weiss with getting it done, though. There you see the go-ahead run. And you see Franco in the third baseline.
Franco should be behind the catcher, Todd Hundley. He has no other place to be on that play.
Now McCracken's up with 2 in scoring position. Infield drawn in. 1-0 pitches up high. 2 balls and no strikes.
One error is given. We assume it's on Lance Johnson, either on the bobble or the throw that got away from Hundley.
2-0 the count. Quentin McCracken, 2 in scoring position. A 4-3 Rockies lead. The pitch out here. Thought a squeeze may have been coming on a 2-0 count. It's 3-0 to McCracken. Now first base is open. You got the pitcher is hitting in the number 3 spot, due up next.
That's really not a bad play when you think about it, because Leskonic's their stopper and he'll be in the game in the bottom of the 9th. But if you walk McCracken, then you still only have 1 out.
As Leskonic, the pitcher, fouled back. 3-1. Anything he could hit, he was going to go after. McCracken was.
Absolutely. Don Baylor giving McCracken the hit sign with the pitcher on deck and 1 out, runners on at second and third.
So the Mets, who rallied back mightily to get 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning and get a 3-2 lead. John Franco has not been able to preserve it here, and the Rockies are up 4-3. And not done here. 3-1. He has walked him to load him up. There is nobody warming up in the Mets bullpen.
Nor in the Rockies bullpen, so it'll be Franco against Leskonic. And we'll see if Don Baylor tries to squeeze with Curtis Leskonic.
That is the 3rd walk this inning given up by John Franco.
All of them on high fastballs.
1 down. Rockies have put 2 across. Now Leskonic comes to the plate. He has not had a hit in only 1 at bat. Obviously here a chance for the bunt. Strike 1. Infield in at first and third. Double play depth at second and short. Leskonic knew before he came out what he was going to do here. Don Baylor had talked to him over there in the dugout while he was waiting. He's swinging away. Strike 2. 1 RBI credited to Walt Weiss on that single he picked up. The other scores on the error charged to Lance Johnson in center field on that bobble that allowed Trinidad Hubbard to make the turn. And 2 errors have been put up. Swung on and missed. Leskonic's out of there. 2 down. But now you got Galarraga with the bases loaded.
It's probably the best thing that could happen to Don Baylor and the Rockies is to have Leskonic strike out. I know that sounds strange. Now you've got Galarraga hitting with the bases loaded. You'll take your chances there. He homered against Franco yesterday.
Andres Galarraga, a big hitter with the bases loaded. A 4-3 lead here for the Rockies. And a strike on the inside corner. Galarraga is 5 for 19 lifetime against Franco with 2 home runs. Timmy mentioned the big one that came yesterday. 0-1 delivery. Grounded up the middle. Over to get it Ordonez. He does, but he's got to hurry. He did not get it there in time. An infield single for Andres Galarraga, an RBI. Walker scores, and the Rockies lead 5-3. Maybe the most unlikely Rocky to get an infield hit.
Maybe the most unlikely guy in the National League. Brilliant play by Ordonez, but by the time he gets to his feet, the throw is late at first.
So Galarraga picks up the RBI, his 14th of the year. Here's Ellis Burks, who may be the hottest hitter in this team right now. He had the big home run in the 6th inning, a 2-run shot. He is 1 for 2, been walked and hit by a pitch, but he's had some terrific at bats here today. Outside to him, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. No place to put him. Bases loaded. This is the 9th man to hit in the 9th inning for the Rockies. They have 3 runs in. 2-1. Weiss at third, McCracken at second, Galarraga at first. Franco now with 3 blown saves this season. 1 yesterday, 1 today. 3-1.
That's in only 6 appearances.
Poto, who had been up throwing before, is again getting ready. Ellis Burks hitting .377 on the year with the bases loaded here. 3-1. And the count is full, 3-2. Two down, bases loaded. No play on that. Runners going. We'll go back here. 3-2 again. I mentioned the Rockies hadn't won a game this year where they had less than 4 runs. Well, they got 5 in this one. Burks down to third. Jeff Kent bobbles, tries to get to the bag, doesn't get there in time. Another run scores. Weiss across. An error will be charged to Kent, and it's 6-3 Rockies.
Hey, trying to be fair, it has been a team effort in this inning. The double error on Lance Johnson, the 3 walks by Franco, and now the error by Jeff Kent.
Well, the audio pretty well sums it up.
They have the bases loaded, 2 outs. Jerry Dipoto in relief of John Franco. Dipoto 1-0, his 8th game of the year. You may remember on opening day he pitched 2 innings against the Cardinals and beat St. Louis. What a nightmare inning this has been.
This is about as ugly as it can get.
Yep.
The 10th batter will be coming up here in the 9th inning. 3 walks, a couple of strikeouts, 3 errors, 4 runs, 3 hits.
Yeah, one might say, sure Dallas Green wouldn't say that, but one might say, well, if blue pit to center field. Well, blue pits are more prone to come after your pitcher walks 3 batters. Or the infield hit by Galarraga. Things like that happen when your pitcher walks 3 in an inning.
Yep.
And that's what's happened to John Franco in this inning.
And John was getting behind on hitters, too.
Yep.
So 2 down, the bases remain loaded. Here in the top of the 9th inning, Jerry Dipoto on. Vinny Castilla started this inning by striking out. He was called out on strikes. Franco got him. Now he's up again with the sacks full. Grounded towards short, cut off by Kent. He'll make the play to Vizcaino for the forced play. So Dipoto only has to throw 1 pitch here. But Colorado a huge inning as they have on 4 runs taken a 6-3 lead. Mets in the bottom of the Weiss. The relay to go is not in time. They get the force out on Rico Brogna at second. Jones goes to third. Ellis Burks puts it away. Jones tags. He'll score, but there are now 2 down. RBI for Kent. It's 6-4. Walked him, still alive. Jeff Reed, who came on to catch here in the 9th inning, had it bounce off the top. Looked like he got crossed up. A very disappointing afternoon for the New York Mets. Leskonic will come on and get the victory in this game in relief, struggling to do it. But the Colorado Rockies have come back with 4 runs in the 9th to beat the Mets 6-4. We'll be back after this round 1 as Colorado takes the series. And our Budweiser player of the game, Walt Weiss, who came on with that big hit in the 9th inning, that put Colorado on the board to stay ahead in it. Our Budweiser player of the game.
And Mets Baseball 96 has been brought to you by Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. Make it a Bud Light. By and by Coca-Cola. Always playing, always Coca-Cola. Folks, be with us again on Thursday afternoon at 1:30 when the New York Mets take on Ron Gant, Tony La Russa, the St. Louis Cardinals. Closed captioning of today's game has been underwritten by WWOR-TV and the U.S. Department of Education. Mets Baseball 96 is produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. Associate producer Steve Olbaum, Associate Director Kurt Singer, and our executive producer is Rick Miner. This has been a presentation of WWOR-TV, UPN 9 Sports. For Gary Thorne, I'm Tim McCarver. Good afternoon, everybody.